It is time to gird your loins.
Yes, here it is, the moment of the show you've all been waiting for, or maybe not, but hopefully one day you will be. Because it's time for me to voice my opinions with permission from my bosses and test them against those of you, the great British public. You can agree or disagree. Either way, you are invited to get in touch.
GBviews at GBnews is the way to do that. I'm going to stay quiet. I will let Alex have her say, but if you've got something you want to get off your chest once she's done that, I will put them to her.
And he loves it, especially if you disagree with me, because so many of you agreed with me yesterday, and it's not left his mind, frankly. He can't think about anything else.
I think it was out of politeness, but today you can let it rip.
So let's kick off.
Yeah.
Ultra-processed food is now 60% of the average children's diet. That's according to a study by Imperial College in London, who have called on the government to act. 1 in 5 children are now actually obese. In fact, the Royal College of Paediatricians has recommended that children should be weighed annually. Now, that's not fat shaming, is it? That's about their future and their health. There's a sugar tax out there on things like fizzy drinks, but things like breakfast cereals have about 70%, or more than 70% of our recommended daily intake of sugar, whereas a can of pop or chocolate bar is more than the recommended daily allowance of sugar for a child. Now, there's been a lot of debate out there over whether this is nanny state or whether we should be policing what our children are eating. I personally think we should. At the end of the day, if children are having this many calories, they're at risk of heart disease, diabetes, stroke, all sorts of medical conditions as they go through life. And I think that it's our job to make sure that we're looking after them as they grow up and feeding them healthily.
Don't think anybody's going to disagree, but let us know. I will let you go on.
We've spoken about this a bit earlier in the show, about the wedding guidance, which does now allow unlimited numbers of guests if the venue is COVID secure. That is, if it's big enough or has a capacity to allow people to be socially distanced. But the government guidelines say there can be no dancing or no singing. All I want to know is how are they going to police that? Because believe me, when it gets to the end of the wedding and people have left all of their half-finished drinks dotted around, I'm the one who's mind-sweeping around the place, starting a conga.
Are you? All on your own?
Karaoke.
I tell you what, no singing, no dancing sounds like the best sort of wedding there could be.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
You haven't seen me dance, but take it from me, that is the case.
It's not the same, is it? Having a good wedding without a proper knees up, it's not really the one. Anyway, a student from North Korea who fled the country at 13 with her mum, went on to be sold into slavery, was rescued by missionaries in Mongolia, then trekked back across the Gobi Desert to South Korea, where she finally was able to settle, went on to study at a US university 5 years ago. But she's done a remarkable interview with the New York Post, where she has said that the clampdown on freedom of thought and speech on campus is actually worse than the dictatorship that she escaped from. I mean, she says that, they have these trigger warnings, they're told constantly that all problems in history are due to white men. She thought that only North Koreans hated Americans, but has actually found out that America seems to hate itself even more. She said that she's accidentally been caught saying he and she instead of they, with the modern need to know people's pronouns, and frankly, it's quite a striking comparison, isn't it?
It is.
American campus culture
how
How
are the French dealing with this? Because le and la, I mean, they're going to have
the whole language.
Oh.
Yeah. Do you know, that'd suit me. I'm a fluent French speaker, but I'm always getting my genders wrong with the French language. It's not an easy one.
No.
Yeah, it's true.
Next one.
Right, now, are you fed up with the rotating cast of characters who pop up every 5 seconds to discuss Harry and Meghan? We're talking about their friends in the US. These sources are given their, 2 bits of newspapers. Oh, Harry thinks this, Meghan did that, they had this call, they had that call. The relatives from every branch of Meghan's family, Diana's old friends. It just feels to me like the royal family are just constantly at the moment being forced through this prism of a kind of reality show.
They're not being forced through any prism, they are the reality show.
Stop. Yeah, but they had a little bit more class than the Kardashians, and right now it's a bit tacky, isn't it? That's what I think. Just make it stop it. Let's move on now from the Meghan and Harry debacle.
GBviews at GBnews. If you want to agree with Alex, I'm not going to give you the address, it's the same one. If you disagree, because horribly I agree with most of the stuff. Anyway.
winning. Now, you might have noticed old-fashioned values are very much my jam, and I've been delighted to learn that English footy star Kalvin Phillips, who clearly has a magnificent surname, is very much a family man. He's had his same girlfriend since he was 11 years old. He's really close to his mum and his sister and is constantly putting pictures of them on social media, and also he absolutely loved his grandmother, who sadly passed away recently. He also donates to food banks. I just think how lovely to hear of a football star with what to me reflects old-fashioned values. So I just want to say, Mr. Phillips, stay lovely.
Nothing to say at all.
Sorry about that.
I completely agree with you.
Voice of the Nation is now officially Voice of Simon McCoy as well.
Voiceless.
It's getting better. It's getting better by
Simon
the minute.
McCoy, stat for words shock, I know.